when you're changing your life and moving to a new country, new things are bound to happen.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Wandering Works for Us. We are Shelley and Beth, a married couple living in Portugal and traveling the world. These are our stories. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Wandering Works for Us. I'm Shelley.
And I'm Beth.
And it is December 27th.
It is indeed.
2 days after Christmas. We had a big Christmas.
We did.
We had a whole season of Christmas.
We had a whole season. And that's really one of, the things we want to say is that here, because we don't have Thanksgiving, people after Halloween and the holidays that are on November 1st and 2nd, they kind of go right into Christmas.
Yes, it's beautiful.
The decorations start going up. Everything's out in the stores. It's really different.
It is. So this is our first Christmas in Portugal.
It is.
And we kind of glided through this season very quickly. I'm trying to think of the right thing to say here. Because it's kind of hard to describe this season, the way that we've celebrated it, even though some of the things are very different. We did some of the same things that we would do in the United States, but they were different.
Yes. And because they kind of started on Christmas in November, early November, and it lasts for, essentially kind of 2 months of talking about Christmas, things are a little more spread out maybe. And we had our tree up by the week before Thanksgiving, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. So at the beginning of November, Sheila came to visit us.
Hi, Sheila.
Hi, Sheila. And you guys got to do some Christmas shopping.
We did.
So they went into Caldas. One day I was like, why don't you two go Christmas shopping in Bond and leave me here by myself so I can have some alone time? Which could have been somewhat of a mistake because, of course, they came back with a burro and a Christmas tree.
And reindeer.
And some reindeer. And when we packed our things to come to Portugal, we had 2 suitcases full of Christmas decorations that we refused to give up.
Right. Mostly ornaments that were special.
Yeah.
But also, we had a little bit of Halloween and a little bit of fall in there too.
Yeah.
But it was mostly Christmas.
Yeah, it was mostly Christmas, knickknacks and things. And so we needed a few more things to put around the apartment, even though we are trying desperately not to buy too much because this apartment is small.
Right. And we just have kind of embraced the minimal look.
Minimal is good.
Yes.
Especially in a small space.
There is not Christmas everywhere in this apartment.
No, there's not.
Which I have to say is easier.
It's enough, really, because it's not like you're going to miss it. It's pretty prominent in the apartment, but still it's very small. So you guys went Christmas shopping and bought a tree early.
We did, and we should say here, Christmas trees are rarely live trees. Can special order one, and I heard that there was someone selling them somewhere where you didn't have to special order them, but it's very rare. And so for my first time ever, we have an artificial tree. Was it your first time ever as well?
No, I had artificial trees when I was a kid.
Oh, okay. I had never had one, and so I decided not to do my usual Beth sort of obsessing about how many branches it had and how lifelike the needles were and all of that, but just to go and pick one that looked good and kind of just go with it and not, drive myself nuts, which is what I did. And it's great. It looks great.
It does. It looks very good. And you like it because you can bend the branches to hold the ornaments just right.
Yes, and then the tree doesn't droop, when it's starting to either settle or starting to get older.
Or die.
Yeah,
It's not dying.
So the ornaments have stayed exactly where I put them, except for the ones on the bottom that get a dog tail swishing on them sometimes. And I haven't had to remember to water it.
It's a Christmas miracle.
It's really been great.
So we ended up decorating earlier than we would have if we were the United States. But also, we were in Portugal in November last year, and we were looking for a place to live. And all the cities that we went to had Christmas lights. They were putting up all of these wonderful Christmas lights. And I was so excited to see them come on. And they cut them on after we left Portugal at the end of November.
Yes.
But the cool thing here is each little city or each little village likes to decorate their village on their own. So instead of, in America, we would spend a lot of time going to see lights in another place. Like we went to the Greensboro Science Center. We went on a car tour with our friends all the way into Burlington and Graham, looking for places that people had lights out on their lawns. Those famous ones that are hooked up to the lighting show and the radio,
Yes.
and they got, all the music going on. And in America, sometimes that becomes somewhat of a competition, depending on where you are. You don't have that here.
No, almost no one decorates the outside of their houses with lights or, heaven forbid, blow-ups or something like that.
Oh, gosh, I didn't see any blow-ups
No,
at all.
I don't think those exist here.
Yeah.
And part of the reason is because electricity is expensive.
Yes.
That's probably part of it. But I think more of it is there's no need to, because the community around you is so decorated and so lovely and bright. And
you'd see a few of them out in the country have maybe something in their yard or lights on their house. But for the most part, not that here at all. I think there's maybe one or two houses in our village that somebody put lights on the outside. But you can walk by and you can see they have Christmas trees on the inside. But here in town, we have this beautiful light show. We have this humongous Christmas tree. I don't know how tall it is, but it's huge.
it's at least 2 stories.
At least 2 stories high. And it's very bright in the middle of our town. And we are in the middle of their town. So it kind of lights up the backyard.
Yes.
Which is nice. And we have lights coming in and out of the town. And we have little things hung from poles and cute little hearts and symbols. Oh, and the giant Christmas ball out in front of the church.
Yes.
In between Solange's place and the church.
Both that Christmas ball and the Christmas tree you can walk inside of.
And we spent a day, we went to Caldas, Rainha, who now has the largest angel in Portugal.
I think that's what they said.
Okay. But
It's the largest angel somewhere, and I think it was in Portugal.
It is a large angel in the middle of their town, but their Christmas lights are strung through the streets. And when you go to the blog, you can see the pictures. But it's really amazing how they decorate the communities here. I love that. I love to see the Christmas lights.
Yeah.
They're so pretty.
I really enjoyed it. I had seen them before in places like Paris and other places I had been, but it was really nice here in our own home to have them, every night after the lighting. And we did have a ceremony where we lit the tree, and there was even a band.
Yeah,
it was
that
a
nice.
whole event. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, as usual, we watched it from the cafe with our friends.
Yes.
Yeah. But it was nice to have the band out there, and Santa came and they did a little countdown. It was pretty cool. And it was all over by 8:00 at night.
Yeah, it was great.
Another thing that they do here in Europe that they don't really do in the United States are Christmas markets. Now, we didn't visit very many here in Portugal this year. We visited one last year in Portugal in Lisbon. We happened upon it before we left. And not a whole lot was going on at that Christmas market. They did have the lights on. Yay!
Yes.
But that was, I think, the only one there was one in Setúbal that we saw too. That was the first one I had ever seen.
Yes.
I didn't know.
It was a little early in November. That's the reason.
Yeah. And then we saw the one in Lisbon. And so here in our little village, we had a community Christmas market, but it wasn't outside in the cute little houses. It was inside the community center. And a lot of local people came with their crafts and their olive oil and their nuts and their interesting looking lamps. They made lamps out of farm utensils.
Yeah, those were great.
Oh, they were great. They're beautiful. And we had some Christmas caroling going on then too. So that was a neat 2 days of community.
It was. And we found several gifts.
We did. We tried our best to shop as local as we could.
Yes.
Except when we went to Zagreb and we shopped there too. But we tried really hard.
Yes.
They also have a day for children here right before school gets out. And we had seen it advertised on Facebook for several days, and we weren't really sure what it was. And then one day we hear all this music being pumped from the city center, and all this cute little screaming kind of going on. And I went out there to see what it was, and they had gathered all the children out to come see Santa Claus.
Yeah.
They called him Pai Natal.
Yes. Pai Natal.
Pai Natal is Santa Claus. They went and visited Santa Claus, and Santa Claus gave him a little bag with some chocolates in it. But the coolest thing they had going on out there was the snow machine.
Yeah.
It's like, they have a snow machine out here. It was suds. It was like little fine suds. And it looked like snow when it was coming out. And the kids were like dancing and screaming and running around in the snow and just having the best time. And parents were there with their kids. And, the community came out to see and support. And it was really just, that was neat. I wish we did more things like that in the United States. But we're not as community-based in the United States.
Right. It's more individuals. But this was really fun. And we should note that they couldn't do a real snow machine that day because it was 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
It was pretty warm.
But the bubble thing, no, it wasn't bubbles. The sudsy thing was really cool.
It was cute. Yeah. Other things we did this Christmas. We had a little Christmas party at a friend's house. But mostly we just kind of hung out and watched Christmas decorations go up, and
we watched a lot of Christmas movies.
We watched some Christmas movies, but it's so funny because they don't quite hit the same here.
Yeah,
because it's not the same sort of feel, I guess.
Yeah,
it's sunny and 60 degrees outside, and people are delivering oranges.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it has a different feel. But we did watch some Christmas movies, and we tried to get more into the spirit. I think I had a different attitude about Christmas this year because we weren't with our families. Eli was coming to visit, but we weren't really with our families. So I was trying to figure out, how was this season, or how do I celebrate Christmas magic a little bit differently this year? So I had a little bit of Christmas magic this year happen.
You did?
Yes. So every day I walk the dogs, and I usually walk them on the same 2 paths. And every time I greet someone or I meet someone on the street, I always say, hello, bon dia, boa tarde, something. And they always reply in kind. So I get to know some of the villagers. They'll wave from their cars every now and then.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. And so this one particular house that I pass has a nice, beautiful lemon tree in the front. And lately, the 2 people that live there would come out and say hello and kind of to the dogs. And, and we'd smile and keep on going. But a couple of days before Christmas, she stopped me as I walked by and asked me a question. And, of course, it was in Portuguese, so I was a little lost at first. Because, oh, my gosh, I have to, figure out what these words mean. But I did pick out the word limão, which means lemons. And she was pointing to her tree. And she asked me the question again and pointed to the tree. And not being sure about what she said, I just said, yeah, sure, see.
See?
And she threw up her finger and said, wait a minute. And so I kind of stood out there for a sec. And she came back and she had a purple bag. And she went over to the lemon tree and started picking lemons. And it was that point I kind of figured out, well, she just asked me, do I want some lemons? And, of course, I love lemons. I go through a lot of lemons.
Indeed.
Love them in my water, cook with them. And so she had handed me, probably 8 lemons out of that?
At least. Big ones.
Tree, big ones. Beautiful, bright yellow lemons. And it just made my night because I'm just, technically a stranger that walks through and just says hello every now and then. This is the only real encounter I'd had with her. But it was so sweet. And when she handed them to me, she said, Feliz Natal. And I was like, oh. And that means Merry Christmas. And I was like, Feliz Natal. I was about to cry. So I came home with a bag of lemons. And Beth's like, what's that? And I was like, this lady gave me lemons.
Well, and I observed at the time, I said, we have been welcomed into this community, not only by our expat friends that we hang out with a lot, but by the Portuguese residents here in this community. Everyone has been very kind. They always say hello to us, in Portuguese, of course, and we have felt very welcomed here. But that was more, I called it being accepted into the community. It was kind of like another step in, and it was really special.
It was just a very kind gesture, and because you walk this village and there's orange and lemon trees everywhere in people's yards. And, she was just sharing what she had, and it was just so sweet.
It was very sweet.
So Eli came to visit.
He did.
We picked him up on the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
And on that same day, my family was having Christmas back in the United States. And so that afternoon we got to FaceTime with them. And it was okay. My dad's Wi-Fi is horrible. So Gary, if you're listening to this, please fix your Wi-Fi. Because every time I try to FaceTime with him in his house, it's horrible. It just keeps crapping out. But if I FaceTime with him and he's in the Walmart, everything's fine.
Yeah, or in his office.
Or in his car.
Yeah.
Wherever it's fine. But not at the house. But it was lovely to see my family's faces that day. And then the next day we had another Zoom meeting with my best friend's mom turning 80 years old. And they threw her a surprise party. So we Zoomed in to see that.
And she was really surprised.
Yes, she was. That
and
was
if you're listening,
sweet.
Hello, Anne.
Hey, Anne.
We love you.
Happy birthday. Her birthday's actually tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Anne. So we had a big family weekend with Eli here and then all of that happening. And then we just had a busy week because Eli was here and he wanted to go see some things. So we went to Sintra. We went to the Coimbra.
Okay.
I'm going to go with that one. Coimbra ruins up close to Coimbra. Mm-hmm. Those are really cool. We'll talk about them in another podcast, but that was a neat day. So we were very busy with Eli here. And then kind of Christmas sort of rolled in on us, didn't it?
It did. It rolled in. And we had a nice Christmas Eve. Shelley did a roasted chicken and we watched some Christmas movies and that was very nice. And it was party central out in the village.
It was, because Christmas Eve here is the big day, not Christmas Day. During the first part of the day, though, the shops were open here in town. I didn't expect them to be. I thought one cafe might be open because they need to sell the bread and they do big orders for the king cakes and the queen cakes and all the sweets and beautiful things that people serve on Christmas Eve. And you can order them from the cafes and they go pick them up on Christmas Eve. So I figured those were open just for that particular reason. Yeah, and in the afternoon, everything was closed. I think except maybe one shop in town. And I think she was just open because she was being social with the people. Yeah. But everything closed down. And then we had a good amount of traffic through the village. I guess people coming to visit their families. And so I was out walking the dogs and people were unloading presents in cars and going inside. And so Christmas Eve is party time for them. They have all of their family over. They eat the bacalhau, which is not my favorite. It's kind of gross.
Not mine either. It's salted codfish. And I am convinced that one day we're going to have it in a dish and we're going to go, oh, this is good. But
we haven't yet.
Not yet.
They serve that. They have all the nice sweets and they serve it with greens, which is usually some sort of cabbage and boiled eggs. And so they have their party then. And then on Christmas morning, it was dead quiet in the village. Like no church bells, no nothing. No traffic. Nothing was open and nothing was going to be open that day. It was just so quiet. But we had our Christmas day, our big day that day, because, our tradition is to open presents and do the party on Christmas Day. So we got up that morning and we had to bake a bunch of stuff for the party.
We did.
Because we were doing kind of like sort of like a potluck kind of thing with our Scottish neighbors, our Scottish friends, invited all the American expats over to their house, and we're going to have Christmas dinner or Christmas lunch that went into dinner. And so everybody had to bring something. So we had to do some baking. So we opened a few presents that morning. Eli was here, so he got his presents.
Yes.
And we opened the presents from my dad that were in Amazon boxes under the tree.
Yes.
And that was pretty much it for our Christmas morning. Did we watch a movie? Did we watch a Christmas movie?
I can't remember. I think we did. I can't
Christmas
remember
morning?
now.
I can't remember. I think we were so busy trying to get food ready.
Yeah.
That we were sort of in a rush about showers and food and getting everything done. And then we went over to our Scottish friends, Meg and Jeff, to have lunch. And we were there from 2 until about 9:30 at night.
Indeed. As per usual.
As per usual, because we are a rolling party, but the rest of them were rolling parties too. So once it got started, it went on and on. But we had such a great time.
We did.
We ate, we played darts, they put a fire out back so it got nice and warm. We socialized, and the cool part about it was Eli was involved. He hung out with us for a long time. Joellen's boys were there. We didn't hang out with them very often, and we got to be with them. It was just a very easy, neat gathering that made Christmas just
special. Yeah. It's basically the group of people that we do things with the most often. And we were all there, and it was nice. It was lovely.
No one was traveling over Christmas, so we all just like, hey, we should do something together.
Yeah.
With us.
Yeah.
So it was very nice. And now it's the neighborhood is back to normal.
Pretty much on the 26th. Yeah. In the UK, that's Boxing Day.
Yeah.
And so that's another holiday really there. But here everybody was back to business the next day.
I don't think I don't think Paula was back to normal. I think she was still closed. But a lot of other businesses in town, like the cafe was open again, the restaurants were open again, and there was traffic through town. So everything seemed to be back to normal. We weren't quite back to normal because, it was a long party. And we needed to take Eli back to the bus station because it was his last day with us.
Yeah. So now he's down in the Algarve with his dad and my sister, and they're having a good time down there. And then we get my sister a visit from her next week, the first week of January.
New Year's Day. So we don't know what our New Year's plans are yet, but I'm sure you'll hear about them eventually.
Yeah.
Because it is what it is. But that was basically our Christmas holidays here in Portugal. We absolutely loved it.
We did. I give it a 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. We do miss our people back home, doing all the fun party things with them. And, it's not quite the same. But all in all, when you're changing your life and moving to a new country, new things are bound to happen.
Yeah. And we didn't mention that the slower pace was very nice after last year.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Because last Christmas, we knew we were leaving in March. And so we crammed it all in. We saw every light display. We went to every special light thing. We saw all the friends. We
did all the parties.
We did it all.
We threw the parties.
We did.
And in the meantime, we're packing.
Yeah.
We're
trying to
tell all of our family that we're moving.
Yeah. So
it was a big Christmas season last year, and it was just so busy.
It was. So it was nice this year to be a little more relaxed.
It was very calm this year, and it was nice. And we weren't go trying to buy everybody every present, making sure everybody on our list got something. We just, we were like, these are the people we're buying for because we got to ship all this stuff back to the United States. Merry Christmas.
Yes.
To us.
Yes, because it was calm.
Because it was calm. All right. I think that's it for this episode.
I think it is.
Yay. Merry Christmas to everyone. I believe we're going to maybe do our best of the best for 2003 next episode.
I think she means 2023.
Yeah, I don't know what year it is anyway.
I can't even remember 2003.
We didn't mention that, we have a crock pot full of mulled wine that we're trying to get through.
Yeah.
Never mind. Anyway, yes. So our next episode we'll do the best of 2023.
There you go.
And maybe tell what we want to do in 2024 and see how it goes.
Okay.
Yay.
Sounds great.
All right. So as usual, like, subscribe, tell all your friends about us. Hit us up on social media because we're on all of them. Check out the YouTube channel. Woohoo! And as always, we take suggestions. If there's any questions you have or anything you want to hear us talk about, please let us know. You could also email us at wonderingworksforus@gmail.com.
And also, we should say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year! And we will talk to you soon. Boa Todd.
Boa Todd.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. If you would like to reach out to us or ask questions, you can find us on our social media pages on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can also follow us at our website, www.forus.com. That's www.forus.com. Hope to hear from you soon. Obrigada!